Hello everyone, this is Kelly with Books I'm Not Reading. Thank you so much for joining me today to talk about Betsy's wedding. And thank you for humoring me and letting me wear my wedding dress. I did not wear this ghastly tank top when I got married, but the wedding dress, like the size it doesn't quite fit as well as it once did. I tried to get a custom thumbnail photo that will show you the whole dress, but if that doesn't work out, I'll insert a picture of the whole dress at the end of the video so you can see it. Anyway, so this is, if you're new to this channel, we are doing a year-long series of the Betsy-Tacy books, but also 3 other books by Maud Hart Lovelace. This is the last book that Betsy's the primary character. She's our heroine, and I kind of object to the fact that the name of the book is Betsy's Wedding, although I definitely want to make sure that you get to see the illustration of our bride. So Betsy gets married in her own home because her husband-to-be, wants to get married quickly. Like, he doesn't want to wait around. So part of me feels like it really should be more like Betsy's marriage or something along those lines, because the wedding happens relatively quickly into the book. And then we get to see Betsy as a married woman, and but because it's me and because it's my channel and because you guys are so good humored about it, I just wanted to share a little bit about my wedding. So here's a better picture of what the bride and groom looked like on that day. We look at it now, we're like, oh my god, we were so young. I tried to duplicate my hair from the wedding, but apparently I had these in my hair, I guess. I found these inside my kind of wedding treasures box. I keep all of my wedding memorabilia in this little box right here, including these awesome earrings that I wore. And so this was my something old and something blue component to the tradition. And I actually really love these earrings, so I was very excited to have a reason to wear them and to wear the dress again. And again, thank you guys for just like putting up with it. My shoes, my sister was horrified, are just slippers because really, I didn't wear them for very long. They're quite comfortable, but they're still good as new. I wore them for one day, part of one day. And my mom actually made my wedding dress, so that's really nice. But I don't have any children. There's nobody in my family I'm going to pass this down on to or anything like that, so I'm always looking for a good excuse to put it back on again and feel really beautiful. So we'll talk about Betsy's wedding. So, like the last book, I really didn't remember very much about Betsy's wedding. And strangely, I remember things happening that don't actually happen in the book. So, it's all, the whole entire story is against the backdrop of World War I. And towards the end, that's when America finally enters World War I. So there's quite a bit in there about, that plays a big factor, especially because one of Betsy's really good friends, Tib, is German-American. And so there's some tension there with that. But I think the thing that I was most sad about is that, like Betsy and the Great World, from the beginning, Betsy was talking about how she wanted to go out into the great world, and also how she wanted to be a writer. And she does, in Betsy and the Great World, actually sell a story for $100, which probably a really significant chunk of I would love to sell a story for $100 now. But this book, she gives, it feels like she does not spend very much time at all writing, and that actually Joe, her husband, is the one who writes a story that they do sell for a lot of money for them. I mean, they start out like most married couples, a little bit poor. They get things that other people aren't using in their basements or the attic. They get things from secondhand stores to furnish their home, and Betsy is trying to figure out how to be a good wife, which I don't object to that. But there's a lot in there about cleaning, a lot about cooking. Jason can tell you some great stories about my cooking, which I don't do anymore. Jason is in charge of cooking in our home. But I just wanted to see her really focus on her writing. And for some reason, in my memory, I feel like I remember her actually, you know, really spending a lot of time. Can you hear my cat crying? I don't know what he's crying about. Blue, you're okay, honey. So I just kept waiting for these scenes that I remembered to happen, and they don't happen. And I find that really interesting that somehow I carried the story on in my brain. Like I continued the novel on down the road when Betsy's, you know, trying to spend more time and trying to be a successful writer, and that does not happen. That's not really the focus of this book at all. It's really more about that time of life when you're getting married, or your friends are getting married, your friends are having babies, and that's kind of the center of things at the moment. And I was sad about, like, reading about her. I mean, I hate house cleaning. I hate it. I don't want to live in a dirty home, but I dread it. So it's always a little bit dusty around here. And yeah, as for cooking, I mean, it's been so long since I've just from scratch made a homemade meal. I usually bake. That's kind of my thing. But anyway, so I was a little bit sad that this is the note we leave Betsy on, is that, you know, her focus is her identity, instead of being a writer and a wife, which I totally think you can be. And I think Betsy knows that she can too. Her family's had so much confidence in her this whole time. On a positive note, though, so Maud Hart Lovelace, all of the stuff about Betsy's husband up to this point has been stories that she heard from her husband about his growing up. But, like, so she, like, interweaves those with Betsy's story, which is very much akin to the author's life story. But now, finally, in Betsy's wedding, she felt like she could write about her husband from her perspective, like her experience with him and that kind of thing. And so I think for her, like, this story felt more authentic about the husband, and and that he was, you know, like, she was really writing about her own husband at that point, that she wasn't just, you know, mining him for his memories of growing up and things like that. So yeah, so that's nice. But yeah, so I was a little bit sad to end the book on, or end the Betsy books on that note. I read this in the Judy Blume introduction way back when we were reading the first 4 books, and I thought it was so great, and I wanted to share it at the end of the Betsy-Tacy portion of the books that we're reading in this read-along. So this is, again, Judy Blume. I don't know why I didn't get to read the last 3 books in the series, Betsy and Joe, Betsy and the Great World, and Betsy's Wedding, when I was growing up. Surely I would have if I'd only known about them. I read them recently for the first time. I was nervous as I opened to the first page. What if the stories didn't hold up well? What if I couldn't imagine girls today caring about Betsy? But I didn't have to worry. I was swept into Betsy's life the way I had been years ago, and by the time I read the final page of the last book, I was crying so hard my husband thought something terrible had happened. I explained it wasn't sadness that was making me cry, it was finding friends that I thought I'd lost. A whole generation of girls my age came to feel that Betsy was their friend. It's comforting to know that no matter how many years go by, no matter how different things are today, what's inside us is still the same, and what makes a good book hasn't changed either. Some characters become your friends for life. That's how it was for me with Betsy and Tacy. And I thought that was really beautiful, and I really agree. I love Betsy, I love Tacy, I love Tib. However, in September, we are going to be reading Carney's House Party. Carney has been a regular character in the books. So we're going to be reading that. It's not very long. In October, we're going to be reading Emily of Deep Valley. So we go back to Deep Valley, but I believe it's I feel like it's a different time. I'm not sure. And then we go back to this PS edition in November for Winona's Pony Cart, which is extremely short. So I hope that you have enjoyed hearing about the Betsy-Tacy books, and take care, BookTube. Remember to be kind to yourself and be kind to others, and I'll talk to you soon.